Welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the demo that was recently shown for Unreal Engine 5.2 and how something like this could have an effect on the future of the Runner series. Now, this footage was originally shown over on IGN's channel, so I'll leave a link to that full video in the description down below. Now, essentially what you're looking at is a full demo of Unreal Engine 5.2, but the part I am most interested in is the off-road scenario that they chose in order to showcase this. Because not only are the graphics themselves gorgeous, but so are the interactions between the vehicle and the terrain. And look at the lighting and the way the shadows cascade across the paint job of this Rivian. Now, I understand that some of you may not be fans of electric vehicles, however, this type of graphical technology could same be applied to, say, a 1950s logging truck as it could be applied to a electric pickup. Now, if you want to see a more technical breakdown of the engine itself, make sure you watch the original video because there's a lot that they went over in that we're not going over, because what we're focusing on here is the potential that Unreal Engine 5.2 could have for games in the off-roading space. Like, for example, here, when you look at the texturing on the actual truck itself, the surface. Now, this is extremely deep, because if you see, the actual paint layer goes multiple layers deep, and there's also the layer of dirt and dust on top of the shiny paint itself, and you can watch as it changes, and not only that it changes the look of the surface, but it also changes the way the light reflects off the paint as well. And that's not to mention how deep this system could get in terms of mud and water and things like that, especially like what you're seeing in the SnowRunner gameplay that is behind this other gameplay right now. Because imagine looking at that type of an interior view, looking at that level of graphical fidelity, and then applying it to a SnowRunner map with all of those vines hanging down off of the logs, with all of the rocks kind of intermixed around the vehicle. Imagine playing SnowRunner and seeing a view like that. And now that we've watched a little bit of the Unreal Engine 5.2 gameplay demo, let's break down some of the aspects of it that I want to talk about more in depth and how they could be applied potentially in the future, or how I would love to see them applied potentially in the future to something like the Runner series. Now, don't get me wrong, SnowRunner is an absolutely beautiful game, but do I think that the graphics of the Runner series could be improved, especially now that we're really fully into a next generation of consoles? Absolutely I do, because graphics are one of those things that I think will just perpetually improve in any series over time as hardware gets better and as more people have access to better hardware. Now, as more people have access to better hardware, that will give developers more of an opportunity to push their games even farther, as it will also give community members and mod creators more of an opportunity to push their creations even farther as well. Because this series is so heavily driven by its community that I think that whatever upgrades the development team were to use to make the actual graphics of the game better, the modding community around the game would then embrace those upgrades in order to push their creations and their mods even farther. Alright, so my apologies, y'all. I started having mic issues about halfway through this recording, so if any of it is a little bit wacky, I do apologize in advance. But back to improving the quality of how modded vehicles could appear in future games, I think an upgrade to an engine like we looked at in the beginning of the video is only the natural progression for a series like this. I think that especially with the way the game could look and feel and perform, and now granted, I know that in that video, for example, we didn't really see the kind of terrain deformation physics that the Runner series is famous for and is known for, and I'm sure that whatever type of engine the Runner series ends up developing itself into, I'm sure that those terrain deformation physics will remain because they are a core element of this series. And I think this conversation also opens up the door for discussions like what we want to see in the future of the Runner series outside of the scope of, well, I want to see the game visit this continent or this country, or I want the game to have this kind of truck. What we really need to be asking are and don't get me wrong, those are very important questions to be asking, but I think what we really need to be asking as well, in addition to those questions, we also need to be asking, what is the game going to look like? How is the game going to play? play? How is the game going to feel? Because at this point in the Runner series, all of the games have felt like sort of a continual evolution of the last one, right? MudRunner felt like an evolution of Spin Tires. SnowRunner felt like an evolution of MudRunner. So I think with these games, they have that feeling of a slow evolution over time. But for the next game, I would really like to see them keep some of that evolution from the past few games, while also introducing some upgrades, some things that make people go, oh wow, this feels like the Runner series, but it also feels like it brings some new stuff to the table. And I think bringing some new stuff to the table in this series could be a really, really good thing for the series moving forward. And that's not to say that they didn't bring new stuff to the table in SnowRunner, because they absolutely did. They introduced console support for mods, which is something that MudRunner never had, and it was a heavily, heavily, heavily requested feature in MudRunner, so much so that the developers even hinted way back when MudRunner was the newest game in the series, but kind of towards the end of its life cycle, they sort of hinted at the fact that they were toying with the idea of mods on consoles. And I remember when I talked about it, a lot of people didn't believe me, and a lot of people were like, oh, the devs are just like, you know, they're just throwing that out there, it's not even real, it's probably not even the devs. But it ended up being true, and they ended up bringing it to light in SnowRunner. Now, is the system perfectly executed? Absolutely not. I have a lot of complaints about the console mod system in SnowRunner, and I know that a lot of other members of the community do as well, both on the player side and the mod creator side. However, make no mistake, the community around SnowRunner is not small by any means. As a matter of fact, in the recent, or I should say most recent as of recording this video, community update, the development team actually thanked the community for over 10 million players. Now, 10 million players is a ton. 10 million players is an absolutely enormous amount, and I'm insanely happy to see the series getting that level of recognition, especially as someone that really came on board with the series very early, way back in the Spin Tires tech demo. Now, they also addressed in their latest community update connection issues with Xbox consoles. Now, this is something that I've been very familiar with in my own comments section. Now, I do own the game on Xbox, however, I primarily play it on PC, so I have not really experienced these issues super directly, although I will go ahead and read out their statement here for y'all, and they say, we're aware about the crashes and connection issues encountered by players trying to play co-op on Xbox, and we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. You can contact our support team and give us as much information as you can, like the platform you're playing on, the KSIVA, which is the number down at the bottom middle of the screen, and what the exact issue you're experiencing is. And you can also send a direct message to Makoto #8292 on the official SnowRunner Discord with that same information if you are experiencing any of those issues. And so they really did put themselves out in the open there and really acknowledge the fact that not only, yes, the game is having co-op issues on Xbox, but they gave you a direct contact to get in touch with. Please do not spam that person with, you know, with upset or with anger or anything like that, but only contact them if you have a direct issue. And if you do have a direct issue and you wish to contact that member of the dev team, please do so with as much information as you possibly can, because that is what's going to help out the dev team more than anything. And trust me, I understand the frustration if you're having issues playing multiplayer with your friends. Look, I understand this game is best played and best enjoyed with friends, and I understand that it can be really upsetting when it doesn't work. However, if the development team member ends up just getting a bunch of angry DMs, that's not going to help fix it any faster. So I think we can all work together to hopefully get these multiplayer issues fixed, especially on Xbox, as quickly as humanly possible if we all, again, collaborate together and relay the information that we can relay. They also took the opportunity in this community update to announce a new vehicle DLC called the Mastodon DLC, and you'll receive the ZIKZ 612H Mastodon, a super large, super heavy beast of a truck with 3 built-in trailer slots. They say it's coming soon, however, it is not included in the Year 3 pass. It is a standalone vehicle DLC, and I'm sure that will probably upset some people because the standalone vehicle DLCs have been a little bit of a point of contention for the community for really ever since they became a thing. So if the Mastodon DLC is something that you choose to go for, I really hope you enjoy it, but if it's not something you choose to go for, I completely understand why you wouldn't as well. But that's going to do it for this video. I know we talked about a lot in this video. We started with discussions about the game engine, and then we kind of switched gears into the latest community update, but let me know what essentially what you're looking forward to and how you're feeling about the way moving forward for SnowRunner and the Runner series in general. And with that being said and done, hope y'all enjoyed the video, and I will see each and every one of you on the next one. See y'all later.